Hello and welcome to Three Best Friends Limited Edition Kingdom Hearts Volume 3. Thinking of you wherever you are. I'm joined once again with my co-host Jake Palmer and our wonderful guest all the time, Alex O'Neill.
It's me, your Kingdom Hearts buddy.
Sorry, audio listeners, I didn't say anything.
Jake's not there.
Nope.
He just got here.
Just got here.
He missed the opening.
Yep.
So this time we are covering Kingdom Hearts 2, which arguably is the best. Well, it's definitely the best so far, I think is the consensus. But so let's go through the story beats really fast, and then let's talk about the game. Our time with it and everything. So the game opens up. Roxas, who's this guy? We only saw a brief image of him at the end of Chain of Memories. Turns out after a short vacation on summer break, you realize he's a part of Organization 13, which is the clad in black cloak people from Chain of Memories. And Roxas was leaving the organization, as it were. His friend Axel tries to stop him, but as his members come back, he decides against it. You later realize why he's going against the fold. He enters the room where Sleeping Sora is from the end of Chain of Memories. Kind of a sad moment, which I want to take a break in the story beat real fast. Talk about how sad this opening is in the context of everything once you realize everything. How Kingdom Hearts 1 was kind of a end of innocence at the child age, and where Kingdom Hearts 2 is more about trying to grasp your childhood, but realizing you have to grow up. And like that opening, once you play the entire game, it's that much more sad once you know the whole context of everything. Just want to quickly say.
No, yeah, it's good too. I love a late title card too, and right after that opening ends is when you finally see the Kingdom Hearts 2 logo.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a good everything leading up to there. I feel like is really poignant and like, it's very silly and anime like most of Kingdom Hearts, but it is full of emotions and you really feel for this character that you spend a couple of hours with. And then it's like, no, the real story starts here, and it's like, where do we go from here?
Right.
It's a really powerful moment in all of this franchise, and especially like we'll get to it when you look at the beginning of this game versus the end of this game. Like, there's a lot of emotion and feeling in this whole story.
Funny story, like the first time I played through this, I didn't care for the beginning. I didn't care for Roxas at all. I'm like, why am I supposed to care about this guy? And then we finally get to Sora. I'm like, okay, now the real story begins. Playing through it now is like, I feel a lot more emotion than the first time I played through this, and I do feel, bad for this character. Like, especially we'll talk about later, but yeah, it was just funny. Like the first time playing it, and you just even remembering, I'm like, I don't care for this character, but now I'm like, I really do care for this character.
I feel like a lot of people felt that too.
Yeah,
you're not alone in that for sure.
Yeah, honestly, the first time I played Kingdom Hearts 2, it was like, it felt very long, that opening tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
who is this guy? I don't care.
Is it just me, or like this recent playthrough, like it felt like it went by too quickly?
It felt a lot faster.
Yeah, maybe it's just because we knew what we were doing this time around, but it felt like it was going a lot faster.
Like, I still put in 40, 45 hours, but it felt like it went by a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Even though I played Kingdom Hearts 2 in the span of 2 days back when it originally came out. But
I think like it's funny because my most recent play, I've played Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of those games it's probably might be like the single player game I've played the most, like front to back. I've probably finished it like 8 times. Certainly up there at least, but this most recent playthrough for me dragged a lot, so and it was like one of those things where I was starting to see the kind of like more objective problems with the design
cracks.
Yeah, even though I still love it, and it's one of those things where I was like, I probably shouldn't play this again for a while. Like playing it back to back so many times in quick succession is maybe tarnished it a little bit for me.
Yeah, it's like trying to play Metal Gear Solid 4 a couple of years later. It's like, oh no.
No, Metal Gear Solid 4 is perfect. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a topic for another day.
For our Metal Gear Solid limited runs.
Oh man,
It always seems to be brought up, Metal Gear Solid, and always a topic for another day.
well, I don't think you or Mike played them, so
Nope.
yeah, I would have to get 2 guests if I ever wanted to talk about those games.
If you like Kingdom Hearts, I feel like there's a chance that you might like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, because they're both very convoluted. Like, you like convoluted storylines? I got the game.
I said after at PAX West, which happened between the last time we recorded, I was at a dinner with a bunch of friends, and I exclaimed that Kingdom Hearts is basically Metal Gear Solid, but with friendship.
Yeah,
I saw that.
And it got a lot of heat. I'll say that much.
You're not wrong in saying that.
I know I'm not wrong. You guys know I'm not wrong. It's just the table was not having it.
Yeah, as a huge Metal Gear Solid fan who's played them, it's dead on.
I'll just wait for Death Stranding for a convoluted story.
Hell yeah, dude. Strap in.
Yes. So getting back to the story, after that opening and everything, we finally have a name. Organization 13 is the name of these people. They seem to be after Sora. Sora wakes up after his year-long slumber, I believe is a year. His clothes have shrunk because he grew. So him, Donald, and Goofy seek off because they hear that the king is in town. They see him briefly outside of the tracks at Twilight Town and set off to Master Yen Sid. After a brief encounter with Pete, the lovable Disney character who is now a villain and harkens to the Heartless, he gets new clothes, new powers, which is probably my favorite part of Kingdom Hearts 2. Was the
that was it. That was the number one moment.
not the moment, the system.
Oh yeah,
new clothes. I'm done. Awesome.
It was like, man, no moment in Kingdom Hearts 2 will ever be better than this. Low
Pete.
bar.
Pete.
I got some new digs. No, yeah. The drive system is incredible.
Drive system is awesome. Yeah, I haven't even really looked into if there's something comparable what they're doing with 3, just because I want to be surprised. But yeah, I love the drive system. So he gets his new clothes, and they set off an adventure once again, visiting new and old worlds, Hollow Bastion being one of them. After, and correct me if I'm wrong, this time he's opening the pathways to new worlds this time,
Yes.
right? He's not locking, right?
He's opening it.
So he's essentially doing the exact opposite of what he did in the first game.
So he sealed away very specific pathways to the hearts of worlds in the first game. These doors to light are similar to what Terra and Ven and Aqua use in Birth by Sleep. So,
to get around to other places, rather than actually having the door to the heart of the world. It's just accessing.
Yeah, it's something that Keyblade wielders can do, from what I understand.
Okay, which, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't actually explained in this game.
No,
right?
Yen Sid says in the full Yen Sid fashion that there are like pathways that you can find between worlds, and he just basically leaves it very open-ended. And then I feel like Ericus is a little bit more specific and says like, "Hey, I'm opening the lanes." He uses
the lanes between.
lanes between
I
worlds.
started Birth by Sleep just recently.
Mm-hmm. So like,
yeah.
I think those were opened and they were never closed, but they were kind of lost in the 10 years that like happened between Birth by Sleep and 1. So I think it's a matter of like Sora is kind of finding his own way through those pathways.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. So after opening those pathways, they have to return to Hollow Bastion and enter Ansem the Wise, not to be confused with Ansem from the first game, who turns out to... Here's where Kingdom Hearts starts to get convoluted. Ansem from Kingdom Hearts 1 is actually the Heartless of a man named Xehanort, which is a whole other tunnel we will discuss in Birth by Sleep.
Hell yeah, we will.
Dear God.
So they have to enter the computer of Ansem, the actual Ansem, Ansem the Wise, or later to be real spoilers, Diz, this man clad in red.
Not short for Disney.
Right? Which, when I originally played the game, I thought there was more of him. He's
Very
like
little.
in like 2 scenes in the game.
Yeah, very little.
He's at the beginning and the end.
Yeah. So they have to enter the computer. They meet Tron, which love Tron. Love
So
it.
cool. So
When
cool.
I originally played the game, I remember not liking the world.
Really?
Having replayed it, loved it.
Yeah.
I think I was just under leveled when I originally played it, when I got to there, which makes sense because my fight with I always forget his name. It's not Zigbar. Zaldin.
Yeah.
Zaldin. I
Zaldin's-
remember I needed help from Mickey like no other when I had that fight.
Zaldin is like a very specific like difficulty leap spike in that game though.
Yeah.
Like they rebalanced it for, I only know this because I played a lot of the original versus final mix.
Dude, they totally rebalanced that fight.
Yeah,
Like
they made
I
him
did
a
it
lot
on first
easier.
try.
Yeah.
Didn't need Mickey at all. I actually didn't need to make my entire playthrough this time.
They rebalanced all of final mix to generally be a little bit harder, but they made that fight easier.
There's an
Right.
asterisk in
There's
that.
an addendum that we'll get to after.
Of course, yeah, it's like they made the one difficulty spike boss fight easier that was like infamous, and then one of the new ones, it's like, oh boy,
Nope.
here we go.
Well, yeah, that new one and the one sprinkled throughout. I love those, by the way, once we get to that.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about after the story. So storing them after they restore Tron's functions, there's stuff going on in the outside world. Turns out there's a buttload of Heartless forming coming in. So everyone, Cloud, Leon, he's called Leon in the game, right? Yeah. Not Squall. Aerith, Tifa, everyone comes together, is fighting off the Heartless. Sora makes his way. He fights Dimix.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dimix. And Goofy seemingly dies.
So at the dinner I was at, that was what was brought up, and from there, listen, I understand people don't like that about this game, where it's like a meme now, but in the moment, at the time, as like a 12-year-old kid, man,
The first time playing through, like, you can't. Can you do that?
Yeah, I was
Can you
like,
kill
whoa.
Goofy? Are you doing this to me right now? The stakes were real.
The first time I played through that, I was so mad. I'm like, I'm killing every freaking Heartless I see right now.
Just like Mickey's reaction in that moment is like so fucking real. And
Oh,
you're
yeah,
like,
he's like,
yeah, dude.
That's it. Throws off the cloak. And
These
he's...
folks roll since the 50s. Like, he's
Yeah.
gonna kill somebody now.
I thought the game was over. I thought Mickey just killed everyone at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that was quite an experience playing that for the first time. Like, a Disney character died? That never happens.
Right.
Disney characters don't die.
But do Disney characters get Norted? We'll have to wait and find out.
Oh god. For our Nort Report.
The Nort Report, yes.
We are coming up with some crazy things today.
Oh, we're gonna have some segments in the Kingdom Hearts 3 episode of this. So strap in.
Oh man. So Sora goes on to fight 1,000 Heartless. Loved that fight then, still loved it today. For Final Mix, you had that new drive form, the limit form.
Yes. Thank you.
So-
Thank you to the 1,000 Heartless for helping me.
Seriously,
So
like
cool.
level that up so quick. It's then that you come across Zemus, the leader of the Nobodies in Organization 13, who is Xehanort's nobody. Xehanort, quote unquote, air quotes. And he words. He says that his goal and organization's goal is to create Kingdom Hearts for them to regain their hearts so that they exist, quote unquote. Sidebar. That whole exist thing, back then, like, it made sense. Now, like, with all the other information, it's like, I don't feel like that's the right vernacular they should have been using.
They start once you get to the world that never was, they start like talking about being a complete being. But I think like there's just like this running theme of like nobody's like they do exist, right?
Right.
They have like a physical form, but it's just like the fact that they aren't supposed to exist is why they are often referred to as things that don't exist. Or that in some way like they matter less and thus they don't exist. Things like that.
Right. Which fair, but also like the heartless, it's the darkness is always there, but so that always exists. So
There's a lot of weird verbiage throughout all of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll touch on it later. So
yeah.
And because the last story beat I have on here is the world that never was, and replaying the game, I realize there isn't too much story in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like the actual main storyline between like Sora, Riku, Kairi, organization, and all that stuff. Really, not that much story. Not a lot happens in 2.
It's I like how they kind of dole it out, like pepper it throughout the game. Like you'll get a scene with like Roxas going to Destiny Islands and seeing Kairi or whatever, or Kairi winding up in Twilight Town and then going there, going here. But yeah, it's a lot of Sora kind of like going through his own shit and learning things and growing as a person in each world. And like there's a lot of that in Birth by Sleep as well. I think they get away from that format once they hit like Dream Drop Distance and stuff. Yeah.
So after revisiting all the worlds and saving, or not banishing, but like destroying most of the Heartless in those worlds, you come to the world that never was, which it's in the space between, right? It's not in the realm of darkness and not in the realm of light.
Yeah.
Right.
It's in the middle, just like the Nobodies are.
Okay. And how that works, we'll get into. Upon arriving, Sora in Final Mix, well, actually in the original too, but there isn't an actual fight in the original. He goes off and is pulled into this fight with a hooded figure, which is Roxas.
Do you guys know why this happens?
It's a fight within, right? It's
because Axel died. I don't know if you realize that.
Wait. Oh,
so my takeaway from it was Roxas finally confirming whether or not Sora was the one that should exist, and that's what the fight was.
Yeah, but the way I interpreted it was Axel's death kind of like sparked Roxas like kind of coming to his own, because Roxas and Sora don't really like kind of come back together until the end of this game.
Right.
Roxas was just kind of along for the ride, is how I interpreted it. I think I feel like they pretty much say that outright.
No, I believe Roxas is actually with Sora throughout the game, because anytime you meet up with the organization, they're not talking to Sora. Like they're straight up ignoring what he's saying. They're like Roxas,
and plus
he'll respond through Sora.
Yeah, like pictures like came up and they're like, "Who's that?" And just he immediately says Roxas.
Right, when he finds the picture in the pouch.
So he's still like kind of there kicking, but he's not like awake and aware. And I feel like this moment is like sparked out because of Axel's death, and he wakes up and he's like, "No, we gotta settle this.
We gotta hash this out."
Yeah. So I take it that you guys didn't really like this fight.
I enjoyed it. I died twice.
I did, twice for me as well.
But it took me time to figure out the mechanics of the fight. Yeah. So I died a couple times, and I'm like, okay. And then the third time, it was way easier than the first two times, just because I knew what to do and everything.
It wasn't my least favorite fight.
That was a sad fight because of the music choice.
Oh yeah, the music choice was like spot on, and it's like, do I really want to defeat him? Like, I have to defeat him, but
it's really cool. I mean, like the first time I played it, so I played on Proud Mode when I like had the imported version of it and I
Dude,
played on
shout out to
PS2.
you for fucking playing this game.
Yeah.
I like at this point I always play Kingdom Hearts 2 on Proud Mode.
So are you playing the final or the new ones on critical or?
No, I don't. So I'm not a huge fan of critical just because the way it like actually changes mechanics of the game. So I've only played through Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix on critical once, and that was just to finish it and get the critical mode trophy. But I did play like the 0.2 a fragmentary passage. I played that on Proud, of course, and it's up. That was busted on Proud Mode. I don't know if you guys know about that, but
No, I still haven't touched that game.
Yeah.
they patched it to make Proud Mode easier.
But you finished it.
I
before
finished
the
it
patch?
on the real Proud
Ooh.
Mode.
Yeah, there you go.
Where like the final boss of that thing is just a goddamn misery slog.
Is it just
but-
like the misery slog where you have to go through in the final mix for the secret boss?
Oh Jesus!
No, it's just like very difficult
Oh,
and
okay.
like you take way too much damage. But yeah, like the first time I played through this fight on Proud Mode on the PS2 version, I died like 15 times. I had a lot of trouble with it.
Really?
But I really like it. It's like way easier for me now once you figure out how to get his keyblades. But
Mhm.
it's such a cool fight both visually and like mechanically. And I'm just Roxas never really had his moment until after Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah,
So, like the fact that they gave him his kind of moment in the final mix version of that game is really cool to me.
That
yeah, especially the cutscene that happens after the fight
mhm.
with him and Axel, which I believe is exclusive to Final Mix. It's not.
Yeah, it's one of the new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of new,
Dude.
we'll have to revisit some of those new cutscenes because I'm curious what you guys.
Yeah,
think.
there's
Yeah.
one I specifically left out during the Return to Hollow Bastion that I wanted to talk about after. Yeah, I teared up during that new cutscene.
Me
with
too.
Roxas, like my boys,
It's really
my boys.
it's like especially after 358, like you like really care about that
Oh
relationship.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. I think that's like one of the better relationships in coming out of Kingdom Hearts.
Those
Mhm.
two have the best relationship out of any other character franchise.
I still am
Thus
pretty
far.
biased to
Thus-
to Riku and Sora's.
Yeah. Right.
Specifically because of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Mhm.
And like we can touch on this because they're all those big moments are after this.
Right.
But like one thing I love about Kingdom Hearts is like how well it portrays friendship.
Yeah.
Like I know that sounds really silly, but there's not a lot of games about friendship.
No.
There's a lot of games about romance.
Mhm.
It was one of my takeaways from the first season of The Life is Strange. Though I think like there's room to interpret that relationship that's core to that game as romantic as well. It's like it's just like a really real, well done. Like not everything is easy, not everything is great, but
Everything's
friends.
not simple and clean.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's not simple and clean. Sometimes you're looking for sanctuary. And
But
it's
does that mean I have to meet your father?
that was good. I have no retort for that. But it's I like how well or how committed they are to showing like these characters like go through rough patches and like they disagree sometimes, but like they're there for each other. And I think like Roxas and Axel especially like they have the good and the bad for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
And then play the intro of the game again when Roxas doesn't know who Axel is and he's fighting him and then you're just fucking crying while you're holding the controller.
That's your best friend. Yeah,
Heavy
this
stuff, man.
this game had a lot more feels this playthrough. A lot more to
Yeah.
me.
Because a
Especially
lot
with-
more makes sense now.
Yeah. I mean, there's still stuff that still doesn't make sense right now, but that's for down the road when more gets opened up through the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, because there's also an element to even Roxas and Axel's relationship that's down the road.
Yeah.
That I don't even really know about yet. That I don't even know about. I don't know what I just said.
They love it. You found it.
So after the fight and cutscene, you finally make your move against I forget the name of the tower. that's in the world that never was. The base.
I don't remember what it's called either. I feel like they don't really say it. I think it's just like the names of the levels, right?
Yeah, let's just call it the tower that never was. The castle. No, something castle.
Yeah,
Might be the castle. Yeah.
it's definitely a castle. Let's see.
Not Castle Oblivion. I know that.
No. So you make your assault essentially on the castle and taking down organization members throughout, in which you take out 3, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The last remaining 3, save for Zinmas,
Zigbar,
Zigbar, Zeiss,
Luxord, everybody's favorite.
Luxor. Everyone just hates him because of. We'll get to that. We'll get to that part. I was saving that because
Memory Skyscraper is the name of the building in the middle of it. Is that what
right.
you're thinking of?
The part. No. That's the that's where Riku and Roxas.
Yeah,
fought.
Yeah. The castle that never was, according to the Kingdom Hearts wiki.
Okay.
yeah.
And so after the assault and everything, you finally see Ansem, the Wise, is there. Him and Mickey are talking, and Ansem has this device that to essentially encode Kingdom Hearts, which sounds like a fantastic idea. And Ansem's plans don't ever go wrong.
Dummy.
Yeah.
Then sure enough, the machine blows up. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sora, Kairi, and Riku finally reunite.
But do they? Is it really Riku?
Except Riku looks a lot like Ansem, quote unquote Xehanort's heartless, quote unquote Xehanort. Oh god. The 3 touch hands and close their eyes, and Sora can feel Riku.
She can see his heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the waterworks begin.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, like coming back to that moment, I got real choked out.
I got choked up this time around, definitely. And I'm like, even though
Just
you know what's gonna happen, it's the story. It's just seeing them finally reunited, even though like you can't
especially
really see
throughout
Riku.
the game, like you see the hooded figure and like it's Riku.
Yeah.
And he's helping you throughout this.
I'm like, Sora, how did you not recognize his Keyblade?
Yeah, dude. Well, he's never seen Riku's Keyblade. He didn't even know he had his own.
Yeah, that is his first
that's
Keyblade,
right.
because the that's on the way to Dawn. What's the name of his blade in Chain of Memories?
Oh yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
Which, interestingly enough, it's not the actual Keyblade that's in the Secret movie. It's that blade that he used in Chain of Memories. Which is, wonder why that is. So they have this heartfelt reunion. That's before you take down the last 2 remaining members of Organization 13. But then you meet back up with King Mickey and Ansem the Wise. Ansem's machine blows up, and seemingly Ansem's destroyed, killed, wiped from existence, seemingly. Because I've spoiled some myself. Riku's appearance is regained. Riku's back, finally sheds the cloak.
Should have kept the cloak. Cloak is so cool.
Yeah, but his clothes are really cool too.
They are.
I want to sidebar, because I spoiled like the Ansem the Wise thing for myself, that he where he ends up.
He's not dead. Spoilers.
But where he ends up, he's wearing a cloak. It's like, was that Riku's cloak?
Who knows?
Did he take the cloak from Riku?
I feel like he had his own cloak at one point too. So I don't know, man.
He's just wearing it under his robes.
Can we have a moment though? Shout out to Christopher Lee. Rest in peace.
I know.
He fucking killed that role so much.
I was gonna save it for the end, but yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
That's gonna be felt.
Yeah, it's felt in the other games because this is the only time he ever plays that character.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I'm sure like he would have had a way bigger role, at least maybe in 3.
Maybe, honestly, no idea.
Yeah.
It could go either way, my guy.
Right.
But yeah, seriously, rest in peace, Christopher Lee, one of the coolest death metal dudes ever.
Yeah, one of the greats, man.
Yeah, seriously.
fucking Dracula. He was Dracula.
Dracula, Sauron, and Ansem the Wise.
Right? Don't cross paths with him at all.
Count Dooku, but we don't talk about
We don't talk about that. I don't know what you're talking about. Actually.
God, what if there's Count Dooku?
Don't say that.
Why would you do
Why
it?
would you put that into the ether?
Dear God.
Okay.
Nobody that works on Kingdom Hearts ever listened to this podcast, please.
They'd obviously put General Grievous in for.
Can you imagine that fight scene though?
Dude, that'd be fucking sick.
That
The
cool
QTEs on
like 2
that.
minutes. Yeah.
Here's the thing though. I want the graphics to be like how it was on PS2 when you first got to like Port Royal.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
those graphics meeting Sora.
Oh yeah.
We're not touching that yet. That's coming up. So now they go off for the final fight against Zemus, and after seemingly like a way too easy fight, seemingly defeated him. The world is crumbling apart, the world that never was. And a portal opens up, and Mickey, was it Mickey? I think it was Mickey. Like, who did that? Or might have been Goofy or Donald. Nominee opens it up. Kyrie's nobody. And the first time I played this game, I was like, well, why is her name Nominee and not X something? It's like, you realize that it's
Not an organization member.
right. It's the organization and Zenmus that gives those names, of which there's context to, I believe, only in Final Mix. I don't think that cutscene where he creates Roxas's name is in the original.
It's
I
not
can't
in the
remember.
original, no.
Yeah. So that at the time, like, we had no idea that that was the case, that he gave those names to them. Because at that point, you figured it as a rule that every nobody had an X in their name. X gonna give it to you.
Yep.
So Nominee opens this portal.
Wait, have you played Dream Drop Distance yet?
Only a little.
Not all the way through.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I have not played through Birth by
There's a
Sleep
there's a
or Dream
reason
Drop
for
Distance.
this, man. Like, there's a whole story reason why that happens.
Oh boy.
I'm so excited for you guys. Oh.
These next two you're gonna be so happy.
Dude, I'm fucking so happy right now. Just thinking
Yeah,
about
I'm
it.
basically, like, aside from like tiny little story beats that I've spoiled for myself, I'm largely going in blind on Birth by Sleep.
By the way,
and-
you spoiled the Anthem thing for me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay.
It's a,
We'll get.
It was
through
going to come up next episode.
it
You're
was,
okay.
yeah, exactly.
it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Not a big deal.
Just don't Google search Ansem the Wise. You'll find some weird shit, man. I'm just kidding.
I know there's a lot of things from Kingdom
You're
Hearts I don't
probably
want to Google.
yeah, it's probably true, honestly.
Just don't go on DeviantArt.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Never.
Nope. 4chan, stay away from it. All of it.
Now I'm. The thing is, I got to be more careful now because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys.
Nah,
Yeah, I
it's
think going forward, since the next two games I haven't completed, I don't think Jake has completed.
I've completed
we
Birth by
just-
Sleep, but
Okay.
I thought you haven't done
I've
Aqua's
completed-
story. And
yeah, it's
you
that's the
completed.
only, Terra and Ventus, but I have
Right.
not done Aqua, so that's the only part.
Yeah.
You haven't done Aqua or the final part
Right.
that
Mm.
opens up. So
right.
So the next two games going forward, we just won't spoil any
Mhm.
story and stuff
Cool.
aside from that Ansem beat.
Apologies.
Yeah, that is totally my bad.
That's
I'm
okay.
so sorry about that.
That's okay.
So Nominee opens up the portal, and there's a moment between her and Kyrie, and then Roxas shows up. And he's talking to Nominee, saying, "I told you we'd meet again." There's
Feels.
a very heartfelt moment, of which Nominee goes into Kyrie, and Roxas, like, funnily enough, says, "Hey,
Look
straighten
sharp."
up, dude." Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a reputation to uphold, which,
Mhm.
yeah, it's hard to say who I think is cooler. Not the character I love more, because it's obviously Sora, but I think Roxas might be a little cooler.
Roxas is cooler, but Sora I like more
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
as a person.
Never thought I'd be a fan of Jesse McCartney, but here we are.
He fucking kills it.
He
too.
did. He does.
Yeah.
He does
such
such
a great job.
Especially like not to spoil anything, but like when he also plays Ventus, like plays it a very different way,
Yeah.
approaches that role very differently, and like there's like a very different personality feeling between those two characters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he does a really great job in
Yeah.
this whole series.
Yep.
And just as Riku and Sora are about to leave through the portal, it's closing up. Zenmus is making a final push. Riku and Sora finally have that final battle and defeat Zenmus, but in doing so are trapped in between. So that was something too that like even in the original and they didn't really make more sense of in Final Mix. Like, how did they get from there to the world of darkness and end up on the shore that we now know all too well? But they end up there. There's sitting on the shore, a bottle with a message comes in it, and it's for Sora, written by Kyrie. As it's reading around, and the feels and the goosebumps go up on my arm because that music kicks in, and like, oh, as the cutscene opens up, the door to light opens, and they finally return.
They finally found the door to light.
Mm-hmm. And Rico's able to walk, even though he wasn't able to before.
Well, he stood.
He's
Basically bleeding out on the beach. Just a couple broken ribs. It'll be fine.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. God, when that first scene happened, when I first played it, I was like, "You bastard! I will kill you for hurting Riku."
Yeah. Also, like when that scene's like starts going, and you're like, I don't know if they're gonna kill Riku in this game.
Right.
Like, I don't know how this is gonna go. And if they kill Riku, I don't like they made him good again. Like I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Yeah, like you can't give him a redemption story this quickly. No, don't do it.
And yeah, I remember when I first played that boss fight back when, that moment where you have to tap triangle and X. I thought that like not the mechanic, but like that scene was
It was
badass.
like, yeah, it was like
So
one of the
cool.
coolest scenes. And even playing through it again, I like love watching it. Like I have it recorded on for gameplay, so I'll put it through in here. But it's such a cool scene.
Yeah.
Just watching him.
And like, because back then, like that scene looked way too good to be gameplay on PS2, and like you accidentally fumble up a little bit, and you're like, oh shit, this is actually real. Like this is going right now.
I remember the first time I played through that, like I was only tapping triangle, and I'm like, why am I getting killed? And then you realize you have to do both at the same time. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
It's such a good moment. Like, especially like, you know, there's a moment where Sora gets grabbed and you have to play as Riku briefly.
Right.
And you're like, shit, like this boss fight has it all.
Right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that boss fight was easier on the original.
So there's an actual like error in the boss fight, like a bug that's, I'm sure you guys probably noticed that when you're like doing the reversals.
Up in the air.
Yeah, you can't mash it anymore.
Right.
Because in the first one, you just hit triangle over and over again.
Right.
You're fine.
And then you have like a opening where you can attack.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Final Mix, like you try doing that, even like pressing it on time, like you're still getting hit and like shit, I have to keep curing right now.
Really?
So that happens. Oh, go ahead.
Because I just recently played it, and like I just timed it like the reversals, and I never got hit.
You can time it where like you don't get hit, but like originally like you could just like smash it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I read about it because it like fucked up speedrunners. It's something that happened when they ported it to PS3, and then when they ported it to PS4 and doubled the frame rate, it got worse.
Wow.
So there's like a technical reason why that happened, and they never ended up fixing it. So.
Yeah, because I remember that fight going a lot easier because you could get those hits in the air. I wasn't able to playing it on Final Mix. I died a couple times.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
What was the fight that you guys had trouble with?
Oh,
You want to really go into this?
Yeah,
So before we touch on that, let's talk about the secret ending.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So back then it was just the teaser. Like all we saw were a hooded figure, seemingly an organization member, walking towards them in the desert in this graveyard of keyblades. Of which I remember back then, like all of us speculating online, like we saw Fenrir, the keyblade that you get for defeating Sephiroth in that graveyard. Like, oh shit! So we all thought this took place later.
Yeah.
And we're all trying to figure out who these 3 warriors were, or like all these keywords keep popping up on the screen, like chasers. Like, what the hell is a chaser?
Still don't know, as it turns out.
Surprise.
And then there's 3 blades. I would say keyblades, but like I was saying, the one that represents Riku that's stuck in there is actually the blade of darkness that he uses in Chain of Memories. Not his actual keyblade, of which makes sense now because this takes place before, and that keyblade wasn't around, I guess, because that's actually Riku's keyblade. But it opens up the question, like, so why is that blade of darkness there? But yeah, so there's these 3 warriors clad in armor.
The other 2 were Mickey and Sora's keyblades,
yeah.
so like none of this really mattered. Like we should have known better.
Yeah.
That's not true. How could we have known? It was
No.
2005.
We were all like, what the hell is this mean? Like, who are these people? Like, okay, that has to be Sora. Is that Riku because he's taller?
Right. Like, that's what you assumed, and you're like, yeah.
And then there's a girl, and you're like, oh shit, is that Kairi?
Right.
Right. But like Kairi's keyblade wasn't there. And, so back then that's the only secret ending we had. But
The
with
final mix version.
you get this whole open up thing with this dude with yellow eyes and another dude in armor that looks just like the armor that Riku had in Kingdom Hearts 1 when he's possessed by quote unquote Ansem. Jesus Christ.
Just embrace it, man.
You have to at this point.
And we get a look at these 3 new warriors, and one of them looks just like Roxas. So let's talk about the fight that Jake and I are talking about.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, just as the last bit of the story bit, the whole conversation that Riku and Sora have at the end of that game, I think, is great and perfect.
Yeah.
And it gives me lots of feels, and it's the reason why Kingdom Hearts 2 it's part of the reason why it's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's a big part of why it's my favorite Kingdom Hearts game. Just like the front to back story of them coming back together and being there for each other is just really powerful for me, and it's great. Now tell me about your fight.
All right.
Check.
So, there's a secret ending boss out of like all these Kingdom Hearts games. There's always someone to fight.
So in the original,
God
there's
damn you,
Sephiroth.
Terra.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Lingering Will.
Lingering will, as it is.
And let me say this, even trying to get through to the area with all the organization members, the data versions of them, I think I was like 67 or something trying to get through that area. Just kept getting hammered in that last bit. So I had to level up 20 levels. I think I stopped at 86 and I made it through. And I was like, okay, I'll go check out this secret fight.
Are you talking about the ones for the Cave of Remembrance?
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole
Yeah.
challenge area,
Yeah.
the hallway that is
Yeah.
the section challenged areas.
Yep.
Yeah, the last
Up,
hallway, like
Yeah.
that.
Harkens back to that room just before the final boss in Kingdom Hearts 1. I don't know if you guys remember that one. That stuck
Yep.
out to you.
Yeah.
That place was my living nightmare, but it's I think the 1 and 2, this extra area is a lot better, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, so I thought, well, maybe I'll go try out this new secret boss fight. Take it away, Jack.
Well, I know for you, you had a way harder time with this than I did. I haven't beaten him yet. I still need to beat him. I'm hoping by the time this posts, I'll have him beat, and then, but my God, like I got so close. I think I had like 3 bars of health left, and he just like spanked me with one of his attacks. And
See, I wish you guys had talked to me about this. I could have helped you. Like
I know I can do it. I'm level 99.
Okay, cool.
Everything's
I was gonna
maxed. It's just
definitely don't do it before 99.
Yeah, it's just the problem is like sometimes he opens up with a different attack where it's just like that whole battle's screwed by the time like you get over. Like I forgot which one it was, but he opened up with an attack and I didn't even get to put damage on him for the first 3 minutes.
It's probably one of his seals, right?
Yeah, it was the seals, and it was the magic one.
Yeah, the magic seal.
That's
dude.
that's the worst seal.
So like this is the Terrified, the Lingering Will fight is like probably my favorite boss fight in any video game. It's just like because it is so intense. Like we're past the big leagues, y'all.
Yeah.
Like this is the pro circuit. It's one of those things where I have every one of his attacks memorized at this point because I've played it so much. I've probably put like 10 hours into just fighting that fight.
Right.
Again, Kingdom Hearts 2, one of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, I love that fight. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's one of those things where you just, so it's all based on random seeds. So like he will do something different every time you fight him. So he'll have certain patterns that he'll lean into,
right?
Based on his opening move. So if he does the seal right out the gate, that's going to be a harder version of that fight, because he's going to lean on that move more. But yeah, I have like down to like frame precision his desperation move, like memorized at this point. Like I know exactly when to guard, when to turn around and guard.
Right.
The thing.
Thank God for final form. There, that glide saved me.
I have a couple of tips that might help though. If he seals your attack, which for me hurts way more.
Yeah.
My trick is to, instead of like trying to use magic to hurt him or sustain him, like they kind of try and guide you into doing, use limit form and use the Sonic Rave ability, because you are invincible as long as you are in one of your limits, and when you connect with a limited attack, you actually heal yourself. So if he does the seal attack, just you can in one, as long as you have all 8 drive gauges at that point, you have 2 attempts to use limit form, and you can use like 1 full limit form to get basically break his seal and get your attack or healing back. It doesn't, so if he seals magic, that doesn't work, but you can just use your regular attack.
Yeah, when he seals magic, I'm like, go for it, okay. But it's like when he seals the attack, which I had it reversed. But yeah, when he seals the attack, that's the one that hurts the most.
And this is like the only fight that I found. What's the dash that you get from Wisdom Form useful? Quick run.
Yeah, quick
because
run,
you can get out of the way of his seals specifically.
Yeah,
you can dodge roll through him too, but
yeah, the quick run helped. Even the glide helped tremendously. It's
completely clutch. You cannot do that fight without glide.
No. I tried thinking about it. I'm like, there's no way. Like, especially when he's like going around following you, like hitting the attack, like gliding out of there. Like sometimes he'll like dash right there, but even
his
glide,
most of his attacks, like I would just say, use dodge roll for. Like he does like that back and forth, like air dash attack. Just dodge roll right into it and you'll dodge it. And then I don't like to do dodge roll for it because the timing's a lot trickier, but like when he gets on his Keyblade glider and charges you, you can use dodge roll right through that as well. So like it's trying to keep your movement space to like a really tight circle, so that way you're ready for when he does his gauntlet punch, which you can guard and then break out of to hit him. Or you can like double jump out of the way of like his like circular Keyblade attack where he like creates the loop of keys. But yeah, just keep at it. Like it took me probably like 4 hours of attempts, like maybe 30 to 50 attempts.
Yeah, I know I know I can do it. It's just the fact of like being the last one was the one where he blocked my attack, and I'm like, I can't do that. Like so I just put it down because we have recent games that we got to play, but I do want to beat that boss before anything.
The limit form thing, it like when I saw that as a strategy, like that changed. It made it a lot easier for me. And the only other thing I would say is just like, so the way his armor works is like, the more hits you put into a combo, the more damage you do. Obviously, I'm sure you probably noticed that.
Yeah.
So any skills that you have that increase damage with combo or increase the length of your combo, you want to use.
Yeah, my aerial attack is all the way maxed out for combos.
Okay.
My ground is not maxed out because I like using the explosion quickly.
Explosion's really good though because it'll hit them multiple times.
Yeah.
So I would say try and keep them on the ground
Yeah.
and use ground-based combos instead of aerial combos.
But that horizontal slash though, that comes in so clutch and does so much damage.
It does. I've just I had better luck with the ground combos.
Yeah.
Plus if he's in the air when he hits his desperation state, where he breaks your combo.
Yeah.
It's way harder to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
okay.
You got this, man.
Yeah.
Whereas I gave up.
I mean, so I've done all 13 organization fights and the terror fight and all 13 mushrooms on proud mode. So I'm just a masochist.
Those mushroom fights are different.
They're fun.
Yeah.
They're basically mini games.
Yeah.
There's only one that really fucking pissed me off. Which is the one where you have to do an aerial combo for 90 hits or whatever.
Oh, the one outside Jensen's tower.
Yeah, that's the only one that's kind of random because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
There's I forget what. There's something like that in Kingdom Hearts 1 too, at least in the Final Mix version.
But I did it.
Yep.
I got that platinum, man.
I'm so proud of you. I don't know if I want to go back for the platinum.
Yeah, dude, it's the gummy ship stuff. You got to do all the gummy ship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so close on Kingdom Hearts 1 where I'm just I'll probably get the platinum for that one and be I got to go for 2.
2 is... I find 2 to be very fun. I like grinding out all the synthesis materials. Yeah. I like... because you get so intimately familiar with the enemies and the item drops and all that. Plus you get 2 more Lucky Luckies in the Final Mix version. Oh no, that's actually... you get 2 more Lucky Luckies on critical mode.
Right.
So if you want to wait to grind out synthesis materials until that playthrough, maybe you could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which I think
so
I'm
that,
almost done.
That was one of the issues I had with Final Mix.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically was the added synthesis materials. I completed Kingdom Hearts 2 back in the day and did everything in the game, all the journal entries, everything. Wasn't that hard. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix though adds in 3 different sets of materials new.
Yeah. I'll say this. I know it sucks. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't turn out to be that much. But it is it's the biggest thing is a lot of them are very specific to Cave of Remembrance enemies, and you have to kill the hardest enemies there to get to synthesize specific items.
Right. Yeah, there's those I forget what basically the new Auriculum items that look like wings. I forget what they're called.
Yeah.
Lost something.
Lost
you get
Remembrance
those,
is one
right?
of them.
Yeah, you get those from the Organization 13 new fights and stuff like that. And then the mushroom items.
Yeah. Which the mushroom items are easy to get though. So you don't even have to beat the mushrooms in order to get a bunch of those. So.
No, I did the one outside of Sandy Claw's place just to get what I need and just get the ultimate
That's
weapon.
an easy one. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk because this is the first time either of you guys played Final Mix, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the cool thing about when they localized Final Mix for PS3, all of the new cutscenes that were in the game were added to the PS2 version of the game. They did English voice acting for them for the PS3 version. That was the first time they ever had an English VO.
Wait, I thought Final Mix and the original Final Mix for 2 in Japan was English VO with subtitles.
It was English VO with subtitles, but the new cutscenes were just silent.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So all the new cutscenes were done VO for the PS3 version of this game.
Yeah.
Save for the Lingering Wheels silent.
Yeah, the Lingering Wheel is intentionally silent, from what I understand.
I remember a time when Jesse McCartney posted on Instagram where he was back in the booth and he had Roxas there, and he immediately had to take that down. Yeah, and I think it was for the
it was for the Final Mix stuff, which is cool. So I there's like 5 or 6 new cutscenes. There might be a little bit more.
Yeah.
First, I know the first one is after you leave Twilight Town. It's like Naminé, Axel, and Riku all talking. But obviously, there's the big one when you go off to fight Demyx.
The big new cutscene.
Like the 8-minute new cutscene of Zigbar.
The 8 minutes of him just walking down the stairs.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. But like, there's the flashback to Zigbar talking to Zexion about what does Xemnas do in his lab. So it's unclear to me. The way I interpreted it was, it's partly it's a flashback to Zigbar talking to Zexion, and I think that was Zigbar just like planting seeds of doubt and trying to sniff out who might not be loyal to Xemnas,
right?
Because obviously Zigbar was, or maybe Zigbar was suspicious of him because obviously there was ulterior motives in what he was doing. But I believe that scene of Xemnas going into his secret lab,
that's during
that moment, right? Yeah. And it's cool because the Ansem reports from Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 reference this lab where they created the first ever Heartless.
Yeah.
And you get to see it in that cutscene. And obviously it's the big moment where you get to see Xemnas sit down and talk to Aqua's armor.
And then Zigbar, or not Zigbar. Yeah, Zigbar. He's saying like the other friend is in that other place. Of which after, going through the game and the secret fight is Lingering Will, you put 2 and 2 together that he's talking about Ventus.
So, he specifically references that chamber that Xemnas goes into is the Chamber of Awakening. And it leads you to wonder where's the corresponding Chamber of Sleep.
So it's mentioned in 358/2 days because Xemnas asks Axel to look for it. I forget the name of the other chamber.
Chamber of Sleeping.
Right, and it's hidden in Castle Oblivion.
Yeah. Setting up for the next thing that we're going to talk about. Yeah. Very exciting. Because neither of you finished Birth by Sleep, right?
No, completely? I on PS3 I finished Terra's, and then I immediately went to start Ventus and was like, I need a break. I need to play something else, and I just never got back to it.
Do you guys know how the story pans out?
I remember the story. I just need to do the final part. Like
I know
need to do Aqua and all that.
Some of it. I haven't spoiled everything for myself. I haven't really spoiled anything from Dream Drop Distance for myself.
You're gonna hate Dream Drop Distance.
No, I actually liked it when I was like first playing it, and then I just fell out of it.
No, I mean like the thing is like I like Dream Drop Distance. It's just like if you think Kingdom Hearts 2 is where things get muddled, like don't even joke about it. That's what Dream Drop Distance fucks everything for everyone.
Really? Oh no.
Yeah, like it is.
No.
Very specifically the point of kind of no return for the franchise for a lot of people. But yeah, I don't know. I like the scenes that they add a lot. I think they're really cool. It's weird because like I only ever knew about those cutscenes after playing Birth by Sleep, where like a lot of what they're doing is setting up for Birth by Sleep.
Right.
So it's like it's kind of moot for me a lot of that. Like I know why Xemnas goes and talks to Aqua's armor. Like I know any kind of thing that they're kind of implying with that. So it doesn't necessarily get me excited or interested, but it is cool to see them all. It really links those two games more in it. And Kingdom Hearts 2 is kind of the first game that really broadens the universe of what Kingdom Hearts is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think specifically Final Mix definitely starts adding wrenches into the coherency of the plot.
Oh yeah,
a lot of stuff added in there.
Did you guys like Limit Form overall?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like that you can use it without, sacrificing Goofy or Donald to the Drive gods.
To the Drive gods, bless up to the Drive gods. Did you guys? Oh, go ahead, Jake. What were you gonna say?
No, it's just like the forms in this game were, at first, like when I played through this, like. Back on PS2, I never upgraded my limit. Like I never used them all the time. Like Valor was probably the one I used all the time, so I had.
Well, yeah, Limit wasn't in PS2.
But right, Limit wasn't in that one. But so you had the Veiler, you have the Master,
Wisdom, Master, and
Final Form,
yeah.
or yeah. And so I've never maxed all of them out before, but playing through them now, like if you guys play through Kingdom Hearts 2, like anybody who's listening,
you need to max them.
max them out.
Especially like back then, like I did it just for the Sephiroth fight, just to max all that stuff out. And once you know how to level them, like it's something you can do in a span of a few hours. Like it doesn't take that long.
It doesn't take that long. But yeah, like using them now, especially with like the Sephiroth fight this time around, like I played through it. I'm like,
right?
It was so easy. I'm like, oh, he's up in the middle. I'll just high jump and then air dodge in the up to him and then just stop him. Like, oh, this is a lot harder
Yeah, when
back
he
then.
uses the homing spears, like just use the double jump dodge and
Yeah.
you're good.
Still a fun fight though.
It's
I love
such a great fight. I remember the first time I played through it, like I remember using the stupid limit, or not the limit, the
Trinity limit?
Trinity limit.
Because that's one of the tricks for that fight, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
using
Yeah.
that, and I'm just like, it felt cheap, and so finally beating him just like normally without using any cheap shots was
Feels good,
feels
man.
great.
I love that fight. Obviously, I like all the new boss fights. The all of the organization fights are really cool because they change. They change.
Yeah,
the
especially
mechanics.
like the new ones. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
those.
You guys hadn't seen like the kind of reimagining. I guess you all just played Chain of Memories, but the reimagining of those fights in the Kingdom Hearts 2's battle system is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
they were
great.
so much fun. Playing against what's his name? The dude with the big blade.
Lexius.
Lexius.
The tower level.
The time window you have to do the reaction command on that to finish the fight aggravated me so much because like his power level was at like 60 something. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can end it now. Kept missing the window because I was in the middle of a combo, and he got all the way up to 99999.
Oh man,
And it's really hard to finish it if you get to that level too.
Yeah.
I did, I got it, but I was just like,
How do you feel about Marluxia? That Marluxia fight.
I still need to finish that fight. It's fun. It's difficult in a
It's
good
hard,
way.
yeah.
I
Really
love
cool.
I love how they reimagine the fights because you go through the silhouettes and you're like, all right, these are easy, and then you go through the finals like, holy crap, they're faster, they're stronger. It's so much fun.
It's all based on that Kingdom Hearts 2 like fast combat. as
Another
opposed to-
the Marluxia was another like time frame window with the reaction command that I kept missing. That's why.
There's two different ones that you can do depending on where you are in relation to his sight.
But like one that really matters because you extend
because you get your hits back.
Yeah. And I kept missing that.
Took me a while to realize like the hits were based on your level too. So I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense now.
Mhm.
And for me, Marluxia was hard doing that fight, but Larxine's also a really hard fight, especially like if you want to actually use the action command in that fight where you combine the two of Larxine double images. Super cool, super satisfying to do. But
that was the first one I did, and I was like, oh no, I should have saved this for later.
yeah. I like that each fight has its own action command.
Yeah.
Kind of based around with it, from Roxas to Marluxia and everything.
Is it Zexion with the book?
Yep.
Yeah, I loved that fight.
Super cool.
Really? Because I did not like that one.
The first time I tried it was like when you first get to it and like it first opens up. I'm like, oh, I'm not ready for this. But going back to it, loved it. Like the mechanics and everything. I still don't know what to do when it like starts flashing the blue and red lights. I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? And I still get hit, but it's still a fun fight.
Yeah, one of those. So basically, it's like 3 books. One of them flashes just like green, or like it's wherever like it's like a roulette, and wherever it lands on, you have to like dodge roll into really quickly.
Right.
And then it'll like a barrier will go up, and all the meteors won't be able to hit you. And Zexion's actual book will be there, and you can just get free hits on him to break it out of the book. It's really cool. I think all of those fights are really cool. I like the data fights a lot too because they basically totally flip those mechanics on their head. Like weirdly enough, the hardest data recreation battle, or in my opinion, the hardest one is Luxord, because of the time gauge. It's like it's kind of a joke fight when you play it in the actual story, but that time gauge makes it really, really hard. And all those data fights, everyone has like max health bars. They're just very difficult.
Oh,
yeah, Luxord, when you get to him in the castle, like that's probably the easiest boss fight in the game.
Yeah. It's like a fun idea, this weird like battling the bar, but it's not hard by any means.
Right.
But yeah, having the hard versions of all those fights, being able to fight them as many times as you want, being able to fight Terra as much as you want, the Lingering Will, and
No,
like,
thank you.
no, yeah, I don't know, I fought that boss fight like a lot. Just
Yeah,
for fun.
it's
It's a great
when I went
challenge.
in, level 86, and like he's throwing all these different moves at me. I'm trying to just glide away, and like, oh, it just keeps following me. Like this isn't gonna disappear. And then he shoots another of those balls, and we're like, oh, I'm fucked.
So good. And there's also like other little new stuff in Final Mix too, like the stickers is a new collectible.
Yeah.
Right.
The puzzle pieces, that was
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
yeah, that's what I meant. But and then if you finish a puzzle, you get like a rare item, which is cool. The update to Christmas Town, there's Christmas Town music now.
Yep.
There was not, it was just the Halloween Town music in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, and while we're talking about music, what is still arguably the worst world in the game, no contention, Port Royal. That fucking song.
To be fair, like they've gone the full arc, man. They redeemed it. Kingdom Hearts 3, man. Dreams come true.
I'm very, very surprised, and hopefully they license more than one song, because seriously, they only licensed that one song, and it's only like a little bit of that song, and it sounds so much worse than the original version of the song. Like, it's like somebody playing a rusty trumpet into a metal trash can.
Can I just say though, like playing through that world again pissed me off because just the guys not being able to go back into the sunlight. So
that is the worst fucking mechanic in the game.
It's like you can't even put them back in the sunlight.
Great idea. Great on paper.
I'm gonna stand by the sunlight and they'll come over to me. Nope, they're just gonna shoot, and then they're gonna run over to Donald and Goofy.
They're gonna kill Donald, and Donald's always dead for some reason.
And he never heals me.
He heals me.
He heals more in this game than he did in the first one. I will say that.
Yeah, it's true.
First one, he never healed me.
At least their items refill automatically, dude.
Oh my god.
Goofy just using mega potions when fucking Beast has like half health, and you're like, "What the fuck are you doing, Goofy?"
I had to stop. I took all items off those characters because I like got hit once and like Sora and like stop.
Yeah. In this playthrough, I never gave them potions or anything.
No.
You shouldn't. You can't trust them with their responsibility.
No. And then I like went to the customized and it's like everything's like free. And I'm like, no.
Gotta
well balanced. That's what
you'll
you
have
get.
4 party members to worry about. Maybe one of the 4. Maybe Buzz Lightyear will finally fucking heal me. Is all I'm saying. Donald.
Trading
at one point I had to remove Donald's attack spells. Just gave him cure. Like, all right, you're just a health bitch. This is what's happening right now.
This is all I want you to do. Please don't mess.
My God, I had him like just do whatever you want. The amount of times he casts thunder, I'm like, you stop. I'm gonna take that move away from you in a second. But
yeah, no, the Pirates World.
Yeah, that was like least favorite one. I'm looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 3 because of the way it looks.
I hope they redeem it.
I think they will because especially with the way it looks, like, they can look real in this world. It's not out of place.
Right. I think my biggest issue with that world was like the movie had just come out. Obviously, it was a huge hit. Like everyone loved Pirates of the Caribbean back then, but the story of that world is just 1-to-1. It like they just took the story from the movie. It's like nothing really interesting is going on here. Bad impersonations all around. One song from the movie. I do remember not liking the Heartless fight. My first go around back when didn't have an issue with it this time. Like when you're trying to find all the gold pieces and stuff. But still my least favorite role.
Do you how do you guys? Where would you rank Kingdom Hearts 2 now for?
It's definitely the fifth. It's definitely the number one.
It's still the forefront. For me, it's Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts, Chain of Memories, 358/2 days.
Okay. I'm curious. So like most people that I've talked to, you'll get a Kingdom Hearts 1 preferred person every now and again. But most people I talk to it's gonna be either 2 or Birth by Sleep.
Yep.
So like,
just
and
that updated combat system is what makes it so much better in my opinion.
Yeah. So one other thing I was gonna mention, actually, they in part of the rebalancing of Kingdom Hearts 2 for the final mix version, they changed the MP rage rates, but more importantly, they changed how quickly your drive gauge refills when you're in MP rage.
Yeah,
it's
that
a
thing
lot
feels
faster.
fast.
Yeah.
It's noticeably faster, and it basically it lets you engage with all of the mechanics faster. So like, you're using all your magic, then you're building your drive gauge, then you're using your drives, then you're using all your magic, then you're building your drive gauge, and it creates like a really, really great loop.
Yeah.
And they like really hit a balance and hit a stride in the final mix version of this game.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's great. I love this version of this game. I love this game a lot.
And yeah, shout out to like what made combat in 2 feel that much better was the reaction commands. That makes that game, and like replaying that after playing Final Fantasy 15, which largely similarly just copies and pastes the combat from Kingdom Hearts, but it doesn't have those reaction commands. And yeah,
for me, like 15 also, like the auto battle aspect of it, of being able to hold the attack button versus having to actually hit it, and like it really hurts the combat for me in that game. I love 15, but
I enjoyed it like far more than I should have,
except chapter 13.
I love it all, man. I'm one of those.
It just seemed weird that like they dumbed down the combat and it didn't feel as good, whereas Kingdom Hearts 2 did, and it still does feel great to play. And it was the same team that worked on 15 that worked on Kingdom Hearts 2. And it's like, why didn't they?
For some of it, like, you mind, once 15 became the game that it became.
Right. Yeah. Originally, it was Kingdom Hearts 2 team and Advent Children team that was working on 15.
Yeah. So, it's hearing everything about 3, and like, I know you guys haven't played 0.2 yet, but like, it's very much taking more after Kingdom Hearts 2 than it is after like Birth by Sleep or Dream Drop Distance, something that uses the command deck.
Right.
It's like full on what you would want from a continuation of Kingdom Hearts 2's combat. And I'm very excited.
Yeah. It does look like it's a little bit more fast paced too compared to the other ones, and it just gets me so excited for that game. And it looks so beautiful.
It looks gorgeous. I'm happy to say, because I had not seen it in writing anywhere, but having now seen Kingdom Hearts 3 being played, it's locked 60 frames, man. Looks fucking good.
Yeah.
At least on PS4 Pro. So.
Honestly, Kingdom Hearts 3 is probably going to be my number 1 game just because they have Toy Story World in it. Like, Toy Story is my absolute favorite of all time.
They got Monsters Inc. They got Toy Story.
I know.
They got maybe a good Pirates of the Caribbean world.
Every year, we come up with this, like, oh, next year is going to be the best year in gaming and stuff like that. Like, next year, for me,
the first 3 months of next year, dude, are going to be the best year in gaming.
Seriously.
Kingdom Hearts 3, finally, and Devil May Cry 5, finally. Like,
and also, like,
Resident Evil
Sekiro
2.
and Resident Evil 2.
Oh, my God.
Well, for me, like, I was freaking out, like, during Gamescom. Sidebar, like, has nothing to do with Kingdom Hearts, but like the Devil May Cry 5 stuff they're showing, there's a scene where they're back on the island from Devil May Cry 1, and I was like,
yeah,
what?
And also a scene where someone rips a motorcycle in half and uses it as 2 separate weapons. So like,
Dante.
It's a little bit of something for everyone there,
right?
Video games are good.
They are, especially this week. Like, this whole week has been great for video games, and there's still so many more to come, and it's just and it's all
I've been playing. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna. I've been playing Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Nice,
which is very good. So, it's I've been going between Destiny 2, Valkyria Chronicles and Spider-Man, I'm like, I'm having a good time. This is a good weekend.
I've put so much time into Destiny 2 already, and then like I had to put it down for the like next 2 days or for Friday and Saturday for Spider-Man, and it's like I'm trying to juggle both also while shiny hunting in Pokemon Ultra Sun, and I'm like, I need to stop. I need to just choose one. But
You got to beat Terra now too.
I know now I got to put Birth by Sleep into that, and I got to go through, or I got to beat Terra, and then I got to put Birth by Sleep in, and then go through all 3 of them. Never.
Birth by Sleep's like 33 hours
Yeah,
at most, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be too bad for
No.
you guys. It's I in my opinion, Birth by Sleep drags a lot. But that's just because you go through all the worlds with all
revisiting and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's all different stuff for each character, but it's just like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited to hear what you
Something
guys-
else we didn't even touch on Kingdom Hearts 2 that was updated and, in my opinion, perfected over Kingdom Hearts 1 back in the day. The camera.
Yeah.
Yes.
That very first moment that you have gameplay when you're like Roxas, and it's like you can move the camera, and you're like, "Fuck."
You've listened to us. You've heard our cries.
Seriously.
You're like, Halo really did change everything.
Well, I mean, like, to be fair, like, Kingdom Hearts was like one of the first action RPGs that Square Enix did, or Squaresoft still at the time. They did the Bouncer, but that was a brawler, PS2 launch title. So, like, to their credit, like, yeah, this is actually like how a lot of games controlled back then, like just do left and right camera control. Oh my god, they learned so much in those couple years, and it just feels so good.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 feels like a modern video game.
Yeah.
Like gameplay wise.
Yeah. For anyone that's still playing through like Kingdom Hearts 1 and they don't know if they want to continue it, keep pushing through it. Kingdom Hearts 2, like it's so much
worth
better.
it.
It's so worth it.
So worth it.
Story-wise, it's worth it, but even just like the new elements of everything that they've done, movement, the combat, everything is updated and works so well. And
All the different like abilities and stuff that you can customize with like cutting down your combos or adding more combos. Like it's awesome.
Yeah.
I did want to ask. So I think we're all collective on our least favorite world. What is your guys' favorite world?
So mine's weird. I loved it just because, I loved Mickey Mouse back in the day. I loved Timeless River. That was like one of my favorites, just seeing old school
That is
Mickey.
great. Like,
Yeah.
back like when I played it originally, like, oh cool, that's a cool throwback. But now, like, what, 13 years later, like almost 30 years old, and like seeing this, I'm like, oh, I remember when I saw Steamboat Willie the first time.
It's such a great callback, and it's like I'm sure I'm gonna feel differently once Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. Like, Toy Story World's gonna be my favorite world of all time, but right now, like, Timeless River just hits a great spot. It's just old school Mickey. I always loved that character creation of Mickey as well. I always loved that look and the
Voiceless
style.
Mickey. Yeah.
And seeing old school Pete.
Pete.
And also like the different references to the other like kind of different old school Disney cartoons.
Yeah.
Of like the burning building and the bedroom with the black hole and, and stuff like that. It's cool.
And the look of Sora and Donald and Goofy was just amazing. I just love how they fit into every single world that they go into.
One of my questions: are we ever going to see Maribel? Maribel, I believe, is the cow girl that's Goofy's girlfriend.
I don't
know.
Because like Daisy's in there.
I think Daisy's more well known than Maribel, to be honest.
True, but like, shout out to Goofy. He doesn't.
I know.
Dude died.
Hey! If we get Max put in to Kingdom Hearts
Goofy
3,
came back to life as the chosen one.
Max would be, I think.
Oh god, if Goof Troop was in there,
dude.
Like if there was like a man, it sucks because like they did Three Musketeers and honestly, Dream Drop Distance might have been the best place to do like a Goofy movie, Kingdom Hearts world, but like, fuck, that would be so good,
right?
Yeah.
Powerline. Oh god, if Powerline.
Yeah, dude, it would be like that could be like Winnie the Pooh world, right? It could be like just maybe mini games or whatever
Yeah.
or something like that, but it would be really great.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh, that is actually one of my favorite worlds in each game. Like
This time the
something
story was
about Winnie
sad.
the Pooh, like
Winnie the Pooh world in this game is fucking too real. It is so
Right?
bad.
Like
Oh.
when Pooh doesn't remember you and you're just like, what? No, Pooh.
What?
Pooh.
I like also their approach to Winnie the Pooh in this, where Sora is Christopher Robin, and like he's kind of coming and visiting Pooh's world and just befriending all of his friends. It's like it's really cute and it's really fun, and it's a good break for me in 2 especially. It's like a good breakaway from the kind of very serious tone.
I will write
That's-
it if
that's
that
what I
one's
love
not in
about-
Kingdom Hearts 3.
yeah, that's what I love about the Winnie the Pooh, because it is like a break.
Yeah.
You go on, it very, very much feels separately from the rest of the game.
Pouring out for Atlantica, y'all.
I still don't have a problem with Atlantica.
I like
it's-
Atlantica,
Back
dude.
then, I liked it. I still like it. Like some of the new songs are a little iffy, but like Under the Sea, man, gotta give it up.
No, I know.
Billy
Under
Glossman,
the,
not
yeah,
a
the,
singer.
the newer songs were like, nah.
Yeah,
Why did you have to have Sora sing?
my little puppies, or what?
I will say like
Oopsies.
the
Oopsies,
Ursula one was tremendous.
Yeah, the poopsies.
Love that.
That's something. Load something.
So dumb, so good. My favorite, I don't know, Tron is always a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
But Radiant Garden, shout it
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
Like they took Hollow Bastion, they gave it like this really cool story. They really doubled down on like, hey, Leon and Aerith and all the Final Fantasy characters, they're from here. Like this is their home.
Yeah.
And they really fleshed that out and showed why that's they gave that place like a story and a vibe and a feeling that I wasn't expecting. And then obviously it's unveiled like, oh, this place had a different name before. It's called Hollow Bastion, and like that Radiant Garden moment is really cool.
Nice.
So
My favorite, Tron is will always hold a special place in my heart. Jeff Bridges, shout out. But my favorite's still probably Pride Lands.
Pride Lands is great.
I didn't
Running
think
around.
Sorry, not to cut you out. I didn't think that world
go
was
ahead.
going to work when I first played that. But playing through it, I can't believe how well they made it work. It's tremendous.
And that's one of the few worlds where I do have like the world specific character in my team always, because Simba and his limit break attack, like, yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So one last thing, just because I now we're getting into it, and now I know a lot more of like where you guys are at. What are like your big story questions from that you have from Kingdom Hearts 2?
So I have one that I was thinking about. It's something we touched on in Kingdom Hearts 1 in our first episode. And if it's actually revealed in the later games, I don't want you to say what it is, but how did Kairi get to Radiant Garden as a kid? Because her grandmother is there.
I guess I can't tell you.
Okay.
A better question that you should ask is, how did Kairi get to Destiny Islands?
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, that will be touched on in Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Cool. Because that always was like, wait a minute, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they say it in Kingdom Hearts 1, but just to be safe, we'll wait until after Birth by Sleep. And
The only thing that happens in Kingdom Hearts 1 is like she remembers like with her grandma reading to her, but it's never actually said.
Yeah, the thing is, I would say is Kairi is a princess of heart that
Right.
is established in Kingdom Hearts 1. You know.
I feel like any questions I have are just going to be somewhat answered, so I don't know if I have any
Right.
questions right now. I'm sure Birth by Sleep will answer some of them, and then I'll have a lot more questions after Dream Drop Distance.
Oh yeah, I mean, Dream Drop Distance is like we're all trying to figure this out together. You know, I'm gonna have to play through Dream Drop Distance again.
Yeah.
With you guys, because it's been about a year and a half since I played it, and I gotta be ready for the questions from that.
I'm trying to think.
I feel like the most confusing stuff is like what is Nominee, which they answer.
Oh, that was going to be my question. Like, for Namine, like, what happened to her, like, between that time of like when we saw her with Riku and everything, and then till the end? Like, did they destroy her? I forgot if they said they actually destroyed her, or that's how she became a part of Kairi at the end. Like, or
So yeah, she just left, but she can travel. As far as I know, she can travel between like the lanes of darkness that the organization members use. So like the big thing about that, because they never really explain this. They explain it in like a journal entry in Dream Drop Distance at one point. So like the reason why like Sora, for example, doesn't use like those lanes of darkness to travel is because using the lanes of darkness that the organization members use, it erodes your heart. It like fills it with darkness and is more likely to turn someone evil or into a heartless. The organization members don't have hearts, so it doesn't erode their hearts. But more so, because we learn more about that as things go on, they had the reason they wear those cloaks is because they protect them from being eroded by using those lanes. But Namine can kind of freely travel between them because she doesn't have a heart. So that's why she can access them and use them. And
Now we're actually talking about it. I have a question. When was Namine? When did she come into existence? Because if Sora had Kairi's heart and then transferred it over to Kairi.
So when Sora became a Heartless, he created two nobodies. One was Roxas, one was Namine. His body literally split in two and became two different nobodies, because it's like the body's the leftover part. And then, this will be important, so I'm just really reiterating. It is very important to know that when Sora came back into being from being a Heartless, like that was kind of like a new body. It's like a new shape. I know that sounds weird. Like there is a reason for it, but it's like his true form is like his heart took its true form of his body.
Right, because like he was a Heartless at that point. Like he didn't get his body back because Roxas is out in the ether.
Yeah, he didn't get his body back. Roxas still was existing. He became his body again through the power of like Namine's light, basically clearing the darkness off his heart, and his heart transformed back into his body. That's really important for a stupid reason.
Dear God. Can't wait.
Dream Drop Distance, y'all. It makes things fucking weird.
No.
A similar thing happened to Riku, and also very important. So yeah, again. Just I know you guys are like thinking about how is that important? Why would that be important?
Well, no,
There's so many.
Like, what do you mean, Riku? Like he was never Heartless, and like, oh, what's going on?
So now there's a scene in my head though, of when you say it involves Riku. That scene that was in that what was it, the E3 trailer, where Riku's sitting next to.
So that's
clone Riku.
See, he's looking at replica Riku.
Okay, replica Riku. Okay, so never mind. That's
like a separate thing. Okay. I don't know. That's me. I have no idea what the fuck's going on in that scene, but it's a great scene to put into a trailer. I'll say that much. No, because like Ansem took over Riku's body, and he technically lost his body,
right,
and fell into darkness. It happened to him in a different way.
So but Riku has a nobody?
He didn't create a nobody because like that whole thing went out differently. Ansem took over his body, pretty much.
Okay.
Ansem.
Xehanort. Xehanort's heartless. It's
everybody.
Quote unquote Xehanort's heartless.
Those awkward conversations in this game where Sora's like, Ansem, I mean Xehanort's heartless. And you're like, oh god. Just call him Ansem. We get it. We'll figure it out. It's fine.
Luckily, we'll be able to talk about that Xehanort thing next episode.
It's also like one of those things where like Xemnas is like an anagram of Ansem with an X in it, not Xehanort with another X in it. And Xehanort, in its own regard, is an anagram of another and no heart with an X in it. Right. So like, I'm really excited to see if that ever comes into play in Kingdom Hearts 3. Because that's just that dude's name is Xehanort. Right. That's just what his mama called him.
My God.
Okay. Not last question, but close to last question. Seekers. One of the keywords we see pop up in the
Or
original.
chasers? Is it chasers or seekers?
I believe both pop
Okay.
up. Or maybe it's Dark Seeker that pops up in the original.
Ansem is referred to as Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. That's a thing. I think so. Chasers with that thing in the end video,
Right.
I believe might be a thing that is alluded to in Union Cross in the mobile game. So it's like basically from the very old era.
Of
so-
which I am actually playing, so we can talk about.
Okay, cool. 'Cause I'm not super well versed in Union Cross, but there's some cool stuff that's actually in that Unchained Key or whatever the movie, the 30-minute
Yeah,
movie.
I haven't watched that yet. I'm gonna save that for that episode.
Yeah, it's really good. I'll say, like, as far as I know, we watched the 358 movie, and like that's kind of a slog. But that Union Cross thing or whatever it's called is actually really good. I think it's pretty
That's
short.
good.
It's really well animated too. But I think that could be a thing that they are setting up to be a part of 3. Because if I don't know how much y'all remember, the very first trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3
Was the
is-
two playing chess or whatever?
It's Ericus and Xehanort playing chess as children or as teenagers,
Mhm.
talking about the Keyblade War. So like we already know flashbacks are a big part of that game, and I think like we still don't really know what happened in the Keyblade War, even to this day. So I think they are setting that up to be a big part of the actual story of Kingdom Hearts 3. So when they reference it in Birth by Sleep, and you're all like, "This seems like it was cool. Why don't you tell me more about it?" And then they don't. It seems like we're getting there. So
Right. There's so much.
there's so much.
And that's good.
I got it all up here, man. The thing is, like, 2, I don't feel is like that crazy. I know the
No.
Ansem stuff is dumb.
No,
But
yeah,
I
feel
like,
like-
the Ansem stuff, so I don't know. I think it's just like it kind of reminds me a little bit of Star Wars. Like I know there's nothing quite like it in Star Wars, but like the apprentice that betrayed his master and took his master's name and
Mhm.
did all of this evil research in his master's name. Like I think that stuff is cool. Obviously, it gets convoluted when those become characters that we have to interact with, and it's like 2 people named Ansem. But I think they did as good a job as I could have wanted by referring to actual Ansem as Ansem the Wise, this well-regarded person. He looks like this, he acts like this, and then Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, like having them pretty separate. So
I have a question for you both. It's not about Kingdom Hearts 2, but it's for the future. So we have Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Do you think Kingdom Hearts 3 will get a final mix, or do you think this is all the story they're going to put in there and that's
I
it?
think didn't they already touch on saying that they might do DLC?
I think they want to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's-
So
But even with DLC, it's like, would it be a final mix in a way?
I think they will, because look at 15. 15 had a re-release Royal Edition, and there's still another year of content coming for that game past
man.
that.
Mhm.
So there will probably be another edition of Final Fantasy 15. So I hope they don't go that exact route with Kingdom Hearts 3, because I would love just a bookend
Yeah.
on this.
Here's the big thing that leads me to believe there won't be what we understand to be a final mix version of 3 is that it has a worldwide release. And the reason why final mix existed
Was
is
because there was stagnated
staggered release.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the big part of final mix, because it would come out in Japan, then they would get additional content and come out in
for the
America.
US, and then bring
Then-
that additional content with a little bit more content for Japan.
Yeah, obviously they went above and beyond with Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, but there is a very specific reason for that, and they were
Right.
like, at some point, Square Enix was like, Kingdom Hearts 2 did so well. I was listening to Easy Allies podcast recently because in July the NPD charts came out, and the #1 game was Octopath Traveler. The last time a JRPG was #1 on NPD was March of 2005
Right.
when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. So like Kingdom Hearts 2 did like really well in North America. They probably threw a bunch of money at them and said, "Hey, we're gonna make this into a universe,
Right.
and you're gonna be able to make a bunch more games." So they got the opportunity to add all this stuff to set up this universe in Final Mix for 2. So
And we're gonna let you wait 10 years before you release Kingdom Hearts 3. So don't worry.
because we're gonna lock Nomura in the Final Fantasy Versus 13 basement. You won't be able to do anything else. Yeah, it's a weird thing too. You know, Kingdom Hearts 3 is like goes into development and just comes out in a normal amount of time afterwards. But it's like if you just let him do it, he would have done it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad we had to wait a long time for Kingdom Hearts 3. Especially
It makes it feel more like a culmination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like Star Wars Episode 7. You know, it's like this big thing. It's a moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
But yeah, I think there will probably be like a Game of the Year version of Kingdom Hearts 3 with the DLC that they put out in the year following. And I think it would be cool if they call that version Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix. But I don't think it'll be anything more than like, here's all the DLC bundled in with it.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
although Royal Edition did that, like it had the DLC and then it added more.
Yeah, it was its own expansion.
Actually, yeah, you had to buy another portion. So I hope they don't.
Part of me thinks that's the way to like get a Star Wars world, like just do it like a side DLC, like doesn't have to be like involved in a story or anything, but like
Star Wars or a Marvel.
Yeah, I
I
don't think they're gonna do it. You know.
Yeah, I there's like part of me that kind of wants them to do it, but at the same time, I'm really okay with them not going into there.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a ton of Disney that they haven't touched on.
Yeah, there's like the newer ones and even some old ones that they have.
There's a lot. Like I would love a Emperor's New Groove.
Jungle Book.
Jungle Book, yeah.
Oh my god.
There's probably worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 that have not been announced yet.
Yeah.
There definitely has to be because we've only seen a few.
I'm really excited.
Pirates.
Like even though like I wasn't a big like Tangled fan or even like Frozen fan, I'm really excited to see these worlds because they look so beautiful through the trailers.
I love Tangled. I love Frozen, and I'm just so excited. And again, I was the person shouting from the rooftops. Like I was so excited when Pirates came back because I wanted them to get a second crack at Pirates.
Yeah. And it looks like we're gonna get Davy Jones this time, where it's like that's
gonna
that
was
awesome.
man. What they showed was that rolls in. Stuff.
Yeah,
which looks amazing.
If they do like both of those stories rolled up into one, I think that'd be really cool. They have a lot of material to work with. And arguably that those first 3 Pirates movies are the only good ones. So.
Yeah, I hope they don't touch on the new one.
No.
Yeah. Have y'all watched that trailer? Because he's like going in and out of the water and there's ship combat. It's buck wild, man. Video games.
Oh my god. Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts is great.
So before we wrap up, Alex, let's get the Nort Report. As far as Kingdom Hearts 2, where are we at?
You know, if you take a good long look at Zigbar,
Size,
Sykes, motherfucker's been Norted. I can tell you that much. We don't know it yet, but they knew it then.
It's a question I always had. Ansem the Wise's eyes. Very similar.
Very similar. I think.
Remind me that I have a question about Ansem the Wise after this.
Okay. My thing is, I think part of that could be that the eyes could be, they are different is the thing. Like Ansem has like far more orange eyes, whereas
orange
Xehanort has more yellowish eyes. I wonder if like that is just indicative of like someone with a really strong heart, which obviously we know Ansem the Wise has a very strong heart. He was exposed to darkness for years and years. And there's that moment where he takes off his mask and like darkness is like pouring off of his face, which like his armor and his uniform is also like the robes. It protects him from being eroded by darkness. But he spent so much time in that darkness. Like you got to wonder if that had an effect on him. Maybe that's what turned his eyes yellow. Or more golden
orange.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that could just be theming of like these two characters that are so intricately bound to one another, like have this similarity between them. It's a good question. Maybe they will get into that in 3.
So we have Zigbar, Sykes, Zenmus, and Ansem.
Yeah. I mean, there is something happened to Luxord. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Y'all watch that Pirates trailer. He's in it. He's been Norted. I don't know. I gotta wonder when all this Nording happens. But we will have kind of a clear idea of who didn't get Norded in Dream Drop Distance.
Okay.
So there's your little tease. What's your question, Jake?
Was the darkness what gave Anson the Wise a tan when he had the mask on?
I like to hope so.
Because I'm like, when he took that mask off, I'm like, he's a lot whiter than what he was.
Another thing, a couple other little things. What's cool, like the opening scene with Roxas and Xemnas, where he says he's been to see him. That's right after the extra boss fight in Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
You fight Xemnas. That is when he goes to see Roxas and says, "I've been to see him."
Yeah.
It's the first time Xemnas meets Sora,
Which is awesome.
which is super cool.
Yeah.
And that beach, the beach that's on the edge of the Realm of Darkness, is the same ocean that is on Destiny Islands.
Yep.
That this game is the game that kind of tells us that, but
Yeah, right at the end, one ocean.
yeah, it is also like just reiterating how close to darkness that world is, the world of darkness and the land of darkness. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's cool. I love the kind of duality of that a lot of the images that we're gonna see of Xehanort in the next couple of games is him standing on the Destiny Islands beach looking out at the ocean, that same ocean. And a lot of the imagery we've already seen is the ocean on the edge of darkness looking out to Destiny Islands somewhere in the distance. So
Nice.
Right, and I guess like once you know like that's a shared ocean and everything, it makes sense that Destiny Island was taken by the darkness. And
one of the first worlds, and he says this world has been connected.
Yep.
It's all connected. So
Nice.
awesome.
Kingdom Hearts is so good.
Oh
you
my
guys.
god.
Yep.
It is. There's so
Just
much
get
to
better.
There's so much to it, but you know what? Just like Destiny in a way, it's like there's a lot of lore and a lot of backstory.
Please don't like in Kingdom Hearts Destiny.
I did it.
Kingdom Hearts actually tells you the lore. Please and thank you.
You gotta read it. You gotta read Destiny's lore.
Yeah, I gotta open up my internet browser and my phone browser.
You know they actually have it in Destiny 2 Forsaken. I was like taken aback at that. There's like little lore.
like it
stories
actually
in there.
like has like the card, like some
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
there.
like you
There's
can
a
go into the
lot.
menu and
Yeah.
read like these little stories from
But
Destiny lore in the game. It's
I
like
only took
I
like,
haven't
what,
read 'em
4 or
all,
5
but
years.
I haven't read them all, but there's a lot of good stuff in that lore. But
you want to know about Aldrin Sov, man? I can tell you.
God, put him in the ground.
Yeah. Thank you again, Alex, for
Yes.
joining us on this
Oh,
series.
this is like a highlight of my month every month. Thank you guys so much.
Like, yeah, this series would not be what it is without you here with us talking about this, because mostly Jake and I are oblivious to.
I gotta be your lore guy, man.
And you are.
I got the Nort Report
You are-
filed away.
Nort Report.
You are our Jiminy.
Sure, I'm keeping your journal on your journey.
Jake, thanks again for coming. I'm loving this book club limited edition. We're enjoying it so much we decided we're gonna start working on a new limited edition once this one
Yeah.
wraps up.
Metal Gear Solid.
Nope.
I'll be there, guys.
Nope. It's a lot better series.
If you want to do Metal Gear Solid, Alex, we just need
Dude.
to find a third.
Legit. Sign me up, man.
We just need to find a third person to do that.
Put Mike
I'm
on.
down.
Mike needs to be on. Actually, no, he's on the next one. Never mind.
I don't know if he would enjoy Metal Gear Solid anyways.
Just tell Mike he's a coward for not playing Kingdom Hearts with us.
By the way,
No, but-
we already told Mike he's going to be on for our wrap up episode.
he'll be on January's episode. Which will be
Okay, where I do
zero-
my lore recap.
Yeah.
yeah. January, I've shifted things around to where we're doing a full episode on Key and Unchained, Unicross, all that stuff. So January will be 0.2 / recap, because I figured once we do an episode on 0.2, we're going to want to talk about everything anyways.
Mhm. Yeah, just-
So that's just going to be January 0.2 recap, and Mike will be there. And
There will be a separate IP recap or like kind of like get hype episode for
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3 as well. So hopefully we can get one or both of you guys on there.
Yeah,
Nice.
totally.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
cross promotion. Alex, where can they find you?
Irrationalpassions.com. It's a website. I'm on there. We just got back from PAX West. We did a whole bunch of stuff there, and we had a great time. I played a lot of Spelunky 2. I saw Kingdom Hearts 3 being played right next to it, and we previewed a whole bunch of games. Mike Burgess, our video guy, did a bunch of video previews of it. We recorded a podcast with the fine folks at OK Beast. Turned into an audio nightmare, but
I saw that tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you wanna try and listen to the poor audio quality but good content of that episode, you can go check it out. But that's irrationalpassions.com. It's all my work, and I'm on Twitter at alfighter27 if you want to follow me.
What would you say was your game of the show at PAX?
It was definitely Spelunky 2. Spelunky 1 is the game I'll say, like, Kingdom Hearts 2, one of the games I've played front to back the most. Spelunky 1 is the game I have put the most time into in my life. Probably put about between somewhere, because I don't know, across multiple platforms, somewhere between 1,200 and 1,500 hours in that game.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's more than I put into Skyrim.
Like, it's a game I've beaten front to back over 75 times. Like, obviously, like, the runs in that game are between 30 minutes and an hour.
Right.
But I've just played it so much since it originally came out in 2012 on 360, like, just across all platforms over and over again. So being able to play Spelunky 2, I'm like the first person in the world to get like a very rare item in that game and do like a couple of things in the game, which is cool for me. And I got to meet Derek Yu, the guy who made Spelunky 2. I get to meet Mickey and Tony, who are the guys from Blitworks that are programming Spelunky 2. It was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
So
That's
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, glad you had fun at PAX West. Jake, where can people find you?
Jake P47, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Do the thing.
Yeah, and what have you been up to recently since we touched base with Alex?
I'm going back into Destiny 2. It's got its hooks set into me for Forsaken. I got it gifted to me. I wasn't going to buy it, and my friend gifted it to me, and I'm so glad he did, because I just want to like give him the money for the annual pass with the way they've reworked everything. It's the looter shooter that we needed now. You can now grind to, get the exotics. It's not, here's everything right here, and you don't have to come back to this game for years. So they changed a lot. Gambit was added. Gambit's probably like the most fun I've ever had for online play. It's
really good.
Like,
it's a clever idea. It's just
yeah, it works, and it's like I still play the quick plays and stuff like that, but Gambit's like, you have to like really think about and be careful what you do, because depositing your motes and doing all that does take an effect, and someone coming in to invade can kill you and you drop all your motes, and like, it sucks when someone kills you when you have 15 motes. But
yeah, we're gonna play for sure at some
yes.
point.
And I need a raid group, so whoever's out there.
Oh yeah, hit me up.
Yeah, so because I think it comes out this Tuesday, but I don't know.
It's Friday. It's the 14th.
Oh, Friday. Okay. So that's what I've been up to. And Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Matt?
Yep, you can find me at Shibs42 on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, this entire weekend was Spider-Man. Beat the story at 7 a.m. This morning before we recorded.
It's like you and Andy Cortez, I think, were both playing till 7 a.m.
Yeah, he like did a 10-hour stream. I'm like, no.
Well, so all weekend, like I set aside 3 days, put days off together and stuff like that so I could play the game all weekend.
Okay.
Around 10 o'clock last night, my fiance is like, really? You're just going to do this all weekend? You're not going to hang out with me at all? Like, all right. I've put in like, let's say 18 hours at this point in the game between 2 days. I think if I just stay up late and play it tonight, I can finish it. So we can do stuff today, tomorrow, and the next day. So around 3 a.m., I'm still doing all the side stuff, like thinking I can complete it. Last night, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to finish the story and complete the game. So around 3 a.m., I made the decision to finish out the story. I'm not going to discuss about the game because we're waiting until we do our roundup of that, which will probably be next month, realistically. Yeah. Spider-Man.
Yep.
Spider-Man's.
But yeah, seriously, thank you guys for joining us again for Kingdom Hearts Limited Edition. This has been Volume 3. thinking of you wherever you are.
Birth by Sleep is next.
Next month, guys. Birth by Sleep. Getting into territory that I, myself, and Jake haven't touched on.
So excited. I'm ready for raw reactions.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Take it easy.
Bye.